So 16th of January, thought I'd do a bit of a transfer rumour roundup. Not done them for a couple of days. A couple of new faces to give you an update on. Just to say, like, whilst I'm talking about these transfer rumour updates, I kind of know that none of them will work in a Steve Bruce system. So that's my disclaimer before we start, but I'm just going to talk about them generally and go through each one and the chances of them coming to Newcastle. So first one we're going to start with is Andy Delort. He is a player who, alongside Wolves, we're having a look at. Basically, he has hit 8 goals this season, plays for Montpellier, and the rumours are that it would cost 14 million. A lot of people have been linked with Delort and lots of players from Ligue 1 because there was a collapse of a sponsorship deal, which was quite huge. He has got 41 appearances, 17 goals, and he's also played for Algeria with 10 appearances and 2 goals. He has played in England before, about 6 years ago when he played for Wigan, but flopped, didn't score, and was seen as a flop. At the time, he said it was a flop, and he just couldn't settle at the time. He's much older now. He's 29 years old, so maybe the experience will make him better. For me, buying another striker would probably indicate that one of them, Gale or Carroll, would go, with rumours linking Gale with a move to Palace and rumours linking Carroll with a move to reunite with Sam Allardyce. Couldn't see it happening with the price tag, especially with Premier League status. Can't see Ashley ever spending 14 million on a 29-year-old. He's 6 foot. So can't see this deal happening. Maybe on the low with an option to buy would be more realistic, but why would Montpellier agree to that? So one to watch out for. The other one is Josh King. King has basically been very linked with West Ham and West Brom as well. Talked about him before. Obviously, he knows Fraser and Wilson well. Has not had a very good season this year, struggling for goals. In the Championship, price tag is rumoured to be around 50 million, which makes no sense because he's available on a free this summer. Again, cannot see us going and buying him with that price, especially if he's available for a free on the summer. He's obviously played in the Premier League, scored goals, Norwegian international, and would know Fraser and Wilson well. Definitely would be an upgrade on someone like Joe Linton, even though he's had a poor year. But I can't see that happening, and especially if West Ham, unfortunately, I think, if we're honest, that probably players would rather go to West Ham than us. The London allure is one thing, but also they're doing better, so I cannot see that deal happening for us. It's quite a sad indictment that we're now, if we were in a fight with West Ham, we would not be able to get him. Next player is Djibril Sidibe, 28-year-old, who was on loan at Everton last season. He's hardly played for Monaco. He can play right back or left back. This is a signing I think would be perfect for us, actually. I've watched Sidibe quite a lot. He's not played a lot for Monaco this year, but he has made a lot of appearances over time and has played for France as well. I think he would be someone who would be perfect for us in the system we play. 5-3-2. Whenever we buy someone, I always say, are they an upgrade on what we have? If you look at the left wing back position, Jamal Lewis and Matt Ritchie, he's definitely an upgrade on those. And if you look at the right wing back position, Yedlin, Manquillo and Jacob Wilson. Why we play Jacob Wilson? Jacob Murphy, sorry. Why we play Jacob Murphy, that I have no idea. He would definitely be an upgrade. I would say if we could get him on a loan, if the loan is successful and we could buy him for 7 million, makes perfect sense. And I think would probably want to be one of the most important signings. I think the club really needs to decide what they're going to do with Kraft, Yedlin and Manquillo, with 2 of them really should go out the door. Because they're not good enough, if we're honest, in the Premier League. Maybe useful in the Championship. Yedlin was quality in the Championship. But I think Sidibe would definitely be an upgrade. However, obviously there would be concerns about his fitness with the fact he's hardly played for Monaco this year. Hamza Chowdhury has been linked, in former England under-21 man. Keen on the loan moves, not been playing a lot. With the likes of Ndidi, Dennis Pratt and Tielemans ahead of him. He has a bad reputation with Newcastle fans. because he did a terrible challenge which ruled out Matt Ritchie for months. He's known as a hard tackler. I can remember watching an England's 21s game where he got sent off. For me, he would be probably on par with Hayden, and he would be kind of a DM, kind of holding midfielder. Probably would be an upgrade on the Longstaff brothers, and Shelby, with Shelby the way he's playing at the moment. A loan deal again, I would say probably makes sense. I felt Bentaleb last year was a bit of a disaster loan signing because he didn't really impose himself on the game. Chowdhury at least is English, knows the league, played quite a lot for a good Leicester team in recent years. Brendan Rodgers highly rates him. I would say, for me, we do need strengthening in that centre mid position. However, my more pressing thing would be to have a creative centre mid as an alternative to Shelby, because at the moment we don't retain the ball enough. We've got no one who recycles. If you're asking me, we've also been linked with Dele Alli. I think the one we should be trying to get is Harry Winks, because at least he keeps the ball moving. He's not the most spectacular player, but he's comfortable taking the ball on either side and is a good short passer and probably would do a better job than what we've got. I think centre mid is actually our worst position, if I'm honest. And I think it's one of the big reasons. The engine room is one of the big reasons why we can't retain possession for long periods. Because A, they're not making progressive passes. B, they're not winning the ball back quickly. They're not pressing well enough. And C, they're not making forward passes or penetrating passes. And it's leading our players to track back in hunting for the ball because they know Longstaff, Hendrick are just going to play sideways. If you want to talk about Jeff Hendrick, I think he might be one of the worst signings we've ever made. I literally do not notice him on the pitch. I don't. And I would definitely say Hamza Chowdhury would definitely be an upgrade on that. Looking at another player, Marcus Rojo, who has been linked. For me, Rojo's been too long, on the Man United bench, reserves, under 23s. Just would be a stupid signing if we went and got him. Yeah, he can play left back or centre back. He was quite good maybe a few years ago in 2014, but I would still will clear these players who have not played for years, 1 or 2 years. Like for me, like the Mesut Ozil deal at the moment, I would be very wary of giving someone who's hardly touched the ball for the last year, because they lose their fitness, they lose their match sharpness, and they do deteriorate quite quickly, especially when they're over the age of 30. So yeah, for Rojo, I would be staying well clear as well. Interesting little rumour is that there's a kid who's an Argentinian under 17 called Alan Velasco, who's been linked with Newcastle. Some say he's the new Sergio Aguero. I personally, if I was that kid, would stay well clear of Newcastle at the moment. I think we would ruin him. We've had so many young players. For me, the 2 players who are ex-players who I would definitely be looking at would be Andros Townsend, whose contract's up at the end of the season, and probably Ivan Toney from Brentford. Players who've got mobility and could link up with Wilson, and I think would be good signings. Andros Townsend, I feel, has really lost his way at Palace, probably because the team is so centred now around Zaha and Eze. And I think he probably needs a change of scene. And if we could get him cheap, he would make sense. And then Ivan Toney, whenever I've watched him in the Championship, he looks really good. He's got good movement, and I think he'd work well with Callum Wilson. But to be honest, like I said at the beginning, all these signings, if Steve Bruce is the manager, we won't get the best out of them. But if you're asking me, Sidibe probably is the one that makes sense the most. Chowdhury, a close second, because we need someone in the midfield. And then probably someone like Ivan Toney to support Wilson up front. Let me know your thoughts on those transfer rumours and who you would go for. And please hit the like and the subscribe button and give me your hints of who you would like us to go for and who do you think Ashley will go for. Don't think we will be getting any. I don't think anyone will exchange hands. I think it'll all be loans. But to be fair to Ashley, most of the Premier League is doing loans at the moment. So maybe that's this summer, but I'm really hopeful that we can bring in some, especially centre mid. I really feel centre mid. We have a championship central midfield players. I think all of them are championship players. Hayden probably is the only one who could be say he's a Premier League player. The rest of them I'd say are all championship centre mids. Which position do you think is most key to strengthen? And who would you go and get? Obviously realistic. Don't be telling me we should go get we should go get Frankie de Jong from Barcelona. It's not going to happen. Anyway, thanks very much, guys.